Okay, so it's 3:30. That just cracks me up. um, and I was just messing with my fireman. It was when I got up. I was okay. I just let's just go with it. Every night's weird. And at one of the points, I put a piece of wood on the thing, and I thought, oh, this will get us through till morning. And then when I got up, I was totally out. I was like, motherfucker. So I had to get it all set back up to start it back up. And then it was roaring. It was going like crazy. So I started getting all set up, and the dogs were, Stella was, there's always some kind of thing. Max is a bed stealer. And it did it again, just like the fire is like kind of going out, so I have the door open. I'm gonna be seeing, hopefully it'll start going again better. Damn it. And I left the door open a little before too. But anyways, so talk about last night. First off, is because like it was weird. I thought, because I have thought, somebody said since daylight savings time, something has happened that's really weird. And people are talking so much about it's too extreme, how dark it is so fast now. And like I said, it's almost like there's some kind of cycle they're trying to keep us out of or something. I'm not sure. There's just so much lies about our existence. So, and I think it's, more stuff that they're hiding because it's just weird. But it has definitely seemed like something is weird. But there keeps being a lot of weird stuff with the Schumann and stuff. So I don't know. The energy and everything is weird. To try and pinpoint each little thing. It's like trying to look at a tornado and see all the things. But it's like just understanding that is an impact on how you feel. Is that there's just so much going, and it can change directions and how you see things really quick. And so one thing that is so exciting is how so many people are so excited. Oh my God, the excitement. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting, just the excitement. It's like everybody all of a sudden took a breath or something. And that is a big change in our energy. It's like everybody was holding their breath. And yesterday it was seeming like just like the day didn't seem tense. It just seemed like any day. It just didn't seem like it was carrying this big thing to it. And then when it go on, everybody's looking at this stuff and looking at it. And it's like, and when I would start looking, it would start getting you caught in the energy of like, oh my God, this went. And then you start thinking, oh my God, are they going to do the cheating again? Do we have to go through that? Because I swear, just that the whole 4 years, but it's totally like this 4 years really has had an impact. Like the difference of the last time you went in now is definitely huge. And that is what, was to wake. Everything is about waking people up. So, and there's a ton now. Like we have a real movement. And the movement is us. And it's us and our desires and the direction that we're headed, the direction we're taking it. And he's the light shower, the way shower, the light bringer. He shows us the direction. And he leads us. It's like herding the cattle, kind of, energetically. Hold on. That doesn't necessarily mean we're all mindless, but there's a direction, to lead the masses. And we've been being led in the wrong direction for a long time. But that's why so much of this awakening has to do with coming into your sovereignty. But I do think it will be kind of a slow thing to go. Like we could have leaders for 20 years or something. I don't know how long it's going to take to wean society off the need to have somebody where they feel like we have a leader. So, because I was thinking about that last night. But anyway, so it was making me feel too much like, man, I start feeling the stress of like, God, if we have to go through more of drama, because I just wanted to just be like him to win and let's go in this new direction. And it's so exciting. the nanos are going crazy on my nose. It is something going on that is driving me crazy. My face is so, it's really puffed up right here. Oh, yeah, there was this thing I did yesterday. Maybe that is it. I always want to think it's the poison because I opened the door to get the piece of wood. And then I came and sat down and then I just started sneezing my head off. And I could feel all this movement in my nose. But then I also did this other thing too, because besides the lymph stuff, lymph drainage, massaging you're supposed to do on your face once or twice a day or something, and the face yoga, you're gonna do all those face yogas, and that there's also fascia, and there's a whole thing. And what is the first one I had seen about it, just, it's never coincidentally, it's always a confirmation is how I see it. When I was talking about with my own abdomen and the rubbing and all that, but you have to do so much mental releasing to actually release the energy from there. And it's down, and it's associated with a lot of sex abuse and a lot of trauma and stuff in your root chakra. And that's why so many people have so many reproductive problems and stuff. And as people don't even realize, like, they have reproductive problems, they're associated with past lives. It doesn't have to do with this. You're creating this because of that. And once you can let go of that, then this changes. So the, okay, what's that? Got me off on a different branch. Hold on. So, I don't know where I was. So when you, oh yeah, the abdomen thing. Okay, and so I was seeing this person talking about doing this massaging, and she was showing like a class, and someone was filming, and then she got right down, and it was a guy, and I just was like, this is so like, oh, it's making me uncomfortable. And she had her hand right down, like where it's got to be like right there. And she's just holding her hand real tight down. And she's talking about, this is the area that holds a lot of tension and stuff from sex abuse and all this stuff. She said it's a very intense area. And when you're massaging this area, it will release a lot of stuff. And like, she's talking to this class, and this is a kind of fasciitis massaging or something, when you're trying to release old trauma and energy that's trapped and stuff. So that's a thing now. And that's what I was talking about, though, is like when you're doing this stuff, it's not just it's not just that you're working on like what you think of as the fat or the cushion or the muscle. Well, there is this whole thought of, because it is weird how we have these levels of tension or energy that we hold into the connective tissues, the fasciitis, because we're not really flesh and blood, but there's these trapping systems, the lymph, the drainage. So however this vehicle works, it has energy that gets trapped in these areas. And so in the things that keep them trapped, like in the lower chakra and stuff, is energy, like pain and suffering and stuff. And you carry it through all these different lives. And so when you start releasing it, that is, the more that you focus on your emotional and, and past lives, like stuff comes up, take it more serious. Like when my mom had that one, that freaked her out. Like it totally freaked her out. Like she talked about it to me and she was just totally tripped out. She said it was so weird. It was like I was there. And it's just, whatever, it was very intense when she told me. This was such a long time ago. It was like 40 years ago. And 40, not 4. And so then she, but something in her thought process or something, I mean, it made question too much about the narrative that she was told with religion. And then she started feeling like, that was the devil stuff, because that's how they keep it's like the village in that show. They keep them trapped with the monster outside. And so pulls them back in, Jesus, under the Jesus and protection umbrella. And so going outside of the box, leaving the cage, it makes you be very much like, fuck, I'm leaving the umbrella or something. So anyways, I don't know, because it was a long time ago. what happened, but she went completely away from spirituality and stuff. And some of the stuff that we kind of had a conversation about before, all of a sudden she changed her thing about it. And I went totally in that direction. I went full on. I got really into reincarnation and started talking about other religions like Buddhism. And I started just looking. The religion is different. And so, and the way that they have people divided over religion and stuff. And so anyways, but that is where we split ways on how we looked at things. There was a period of time because she did give me the introduction to some of that spiritual stuff. She probably was the first one who gave me a Shirley MacLaine book. She's one of those people who reads tons and tons and tons. And so anyways, she reads lots of books. So that's that. And let's go back to, so when I was on there and I was seeing all these people were all just so hyper focused and everybody's talking about it, it was very tense. And it's like, and then they were saying so much the news media shenanigan bullshit. And then there would be some that would be real. And so anyways, it was just like crazy. And I just kept telling myself, well, it's out of my hands. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And we just got to go with the flow and just let it play out. Whatever's going to be is going to be. And so I just had to let it go because I could just feel myself getting so caught up in it. Like, oh my God, what if he doesn't win? No. What if we have to go with 4 more years of this shit? Like, so then I went to sleep for a while. And then when I woke up, I was so excited. Oh, God. I was so excited. And because the first thing I saw was a message from my mom. And she just put a thing of him waving a flag and some emoji, I think, that expresses joy. And so I was like, oh, we won. It's like they've already announced it. So I went on to TikTok, and it was right when he was going live and doing his acceptance thing, and or his thing of like telling, his talk of like, yeah, we did it, guys, we've done it, we all did it together, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in any election. Like, no shit, man. And it was worldwide. Is then this morning I went on to see, because I was like, I'm going to see for a minute, if they do have a bunch of riots and shit breaking out, which, especially when you even see the map, it is such a small amount of blue. It was very misleading. And I think it was very misleading to those people. But it was weird how they couldn't see around them and see the movement, what was creating so much resistance in them. And I'm sure right now, there's a lot of people stressed. Like regular people. I mean, there's all these actors who say they're leaving. And it's like, farewell, go. Like, you're probably, if you are that fucking weird about it, you're probably going to the get. So get you going, I guess. Like, you've obviously done some bad things and we don't care what you do now. So it's, but I'm sure that there's some people, because I saw one video last night too when I was still on the thing, and this one lady, she was like crying. She's like, I'm so stressed, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I mean, if somebody saw me, they would think I wasn't conservative. And so it's hard, I couldn't tell which way she was crying about, but I was thinking that was going to be a lot of liberal tears like that, because they are so convinced that they're going to lose all these womanly rights and stuff. And anyways, it's they're going to just have to, I don't know, it seems like this stuff is all just, everything is just going so much slower than what it had seemed, So a lot of this stuff, there's going to be some dramatic thing, and I don't think this is just it. I think maybe it does have to do with this 39 days from that thing with Rogan, because I would think maybe the big thing is going to be something with the sky. because it is already, and it is already, in his acceptance speech and stuff, he was already talking about so much with rockets, and Elon just is zipping over here with his rocket and stuff. And something, I don't know, I think the fire's going out again. God damn it. Is that I should have just left it open. It was really going good. It's always just like choices and consequences, man. So, anyways, it's very distracting though, because then part of me is like, go fix it, go fix it. It's like, shut the fuck up, let me finish. And so, something is in my eye too. Sometimes I feel so harassed by some energy that's around me, harassing me. What the fuck? So anyways, there is going to be this quantum jump, this leap in our thing. And I don't know if it's going to be like Elon's going to bring it in, because everything, it seems like they've got to do it so gentle. Like people can't handle the truth. And so everything has got to go real slow. And because I would think we didn't need a whole fucking 4 years of our shit. But I don't know. It did drive a lot of people to go a different direction because it got so bad. And so, man, there is really something bothering my eye. So, anyways, whatever is gonna, let me think where I was. So, we have, so he won. Oh, yeah, and so, yeah, right away he was talking about the technology and stuff. So, I think that could be the thing that all of a sudden turns everything, or contact, because he's going to bring in contact. There was even something I had seen where somebody was saying him and Melania have been on a Palladian ship, and she wore this hat that looked like a spaceship to represent. And so everything is this, like, opening us in this direction. It's like opening your mind in this direction. So I don't know if, I think everything is going to be, there's going to be a lot of hidden stuff, that's for sure, that we're going to find out about. And these people who they tell us are aliens and stuff, they're just in other dimensions around us. Everything is about frequency and all this stuff that I say. So there is contact, and then it does have to do with the evolution of man, because it changes the firmament thing. It changes the concealing, because this wave, it's like this wave of love and unity and acceptance with one another just spread out. It spread so much globally. I can't believe how many people in other countries were so invested. It was so exciting to see so many people celebrating. I even saw a video of a college campus where you think, oh, it's going to be a horrible protest, they're all brainwashed. No, they all come running out of the building, screaming and jumping and cheering. Oh, it's going to make me cry, because everybody's like, USA, USA. So everybody's so excited, because that's the movement, is this, excited that, what we can do, and see he's the leader. He's going to bring us, and he's a businessman who knows shit. So he's going to lead us into this productive time. And he was definitely saying that, we're going to become so strong, and everything is going to be changing. I already saw a video where he already has said, so, and I already had told my daughter too. So in January, it's going to be that. So, because homeschoolers are allowed to get like $10,000 or something. And so, or something about the education and about the grant, the money, the way the money is distributed. And the government wants all of the money, because they're in this huge laundry system. So they try and get everybody to put their kids in to their centers. And their centers have shown us over the last few years that it's really just all indoctrination. And then we can see the results. because of what has happened through the generations. We can see how much control that they really have gotten, and how it was all done on purpose. Is when you go back and you read the 20, and then it's got a 3 and a 0 at the end, I talk about all the time, that they did all this on purpose. And they talk about how to break down the family and to get the control of the kids and stuff, and how many generations it takes to get complete control over them. And so we can see. And I think it was I think they've got such control over the ones like in middle school and high school right now. But I think in some out, I think it really started hitting hard at this time with the millennials, when they started really trying to get all the kids to go to college, when it was really a hard push. And there was like a giant jump into mind overload of control, or all of a sudden you're arguing with your kids. You're trying to send them for a good education, and they're arguing with you about every motherfucking thing, arguing with you about history and shit. It's like arguing. I had them argue with me about shit that I lived through. It's like, what the fuck? So, but now, then when you get to put the pieces together, they all start making sense. So that, but so they started that a long while ago, because it was the 4th generation is when they would get total control. But that's what it has to do with the schools and stuff, is creating the citizens that they want, and a slow, systematic change in their teaching, all of it. But one of the big things with Trump is about family and stuff. So he wants to get people back in their homes, and all these people just out working so hard. And things are going to change a lot with jobs and stuff too. There's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be AI, but there's going to be a lot of room to open up doors for people to go and create new things. And there's not going to be so much restriction, even though it's going to kind of, like, I don't know. I think, what was that? Because it was something yesterday. It's still with the gold standard thing. Still was something with that. But it popped into my mind. And I was like, oh, that's why everybody will start going back to their homes or something. Back to their places or whatever. He's already said he's going to let people become citizens. They just got to go through a process. But the process is going to be changing. Everything's going to be changing. Like, I don't think we're going to have to be registering our kids and getting social security cards and stuff like that. Like, all this stuff's going to be changing, because all that stuff was to control us. But it's like became our, people's blankies or pacifiers, it became something that they hold on to that gives them a parameter of what it is to live. And so that's why it's just like a slow dismantling. Like, oh, well, we don't really need that anymore. Well, just like how, when they took away Roe, and look what happened. People lost their fucking minds. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean they're not going to tell us what to do? And so it has to be like this, this kind of slow kind of thing to, like, I think, though, but also on that schooling thing. So I think it seems like it's going to be $10K per kid. But I think he has huge incentives to want to try and keep people in their homes with their kids. And the thing, too, about homeschooling is it's not going to be all these restrictions and stuff. It's going to be about just teaching your kids. And they may put out a thing and say, these are the kind of things you want to look at to try and make sure your kid knows how to do reading and math by the time they're like 6 years old or whatever. They may say some things like that, but it's going to be more of a guide, not like you need to send us in all your curriculum and let us check it twice and we'll tell you, and then we're going to make you buy these really expensive books, because homeschoolers used to have to jump through some bullshit hoops. And I think that's why they formed homeschool groups, so that they could like share stuff and stuff. So anyways, but those kinds of things are going to change. I think there's going to be a lot more available for books and stuff. Like if you're like, oh, my kid's really into science, but I don't know much about it. I'm going to go up there to this place and get books about it. And don't forget, once your kid learns how to read and stuff, they can read this stuff for themselves. They don't need you to teach them. The books will teach them. And then always try and get them to get more than one book, get them to get well-rounded, so they get a lot of different people's opinions, so that makes it easier to form their own opinion. And that's what science is all about, is it's like forming opinions based on all of your information. And so it's just a way to help their minds to open. But if I had kids still at home, and I know if it was really overwhelming for a lot of people when their kids were at home and they couldn't send them to school and they didn't know what to do and all of that. And so I think it's because they gave such parameters over what you think education is. And I think basically when you're starting your kid out, it's just the same thing of teaching them how to tie their shoe, teaching them how to count blocks, teaching them how to do colors, teaching them different textures, teaching them, different things. So their mind is opening. And as you're teaching it, you just naturally start teaching them some words, reading them bedtime stories, and teaching them some of the words as they go. Get them to sit next to you. You can get them tapes on languages. There's so many teaching language tapes out there. You can get them that, and that's a part of their education. And every day they have to go in there and however you want to do it. If they have to write things down, just sing them, sit in the mirror and say them to themselves. Like there's so many ways, you can get your kid to learn about. You could have them put on a mask and they have to go lay on their bed and listen to it for an hour or something. Like there's a lot of different ways, and each kid is going to have different ways that work better for them. Just, help them to learn about themselves. And so learning how to do other languages, because it helps with communication, to be able to talk to more people when you can develop more communication in other languages and stuff. So that's very productive, and it's a good thing. Like you could have your kid learn a couple of languages. Once they learn Spanish, then they can learn French and Italian. Like there's all sorts of languages that they can go and learn, and that will expand and be able to talk to more people and understand more things. And I would definitely have them do time with art or some kind of self-expression. If they want to write poems, if they want to draw pictures, but some period of time of the day that they need to put time into that. They need to put time into reading. And when you're going through that bridge of teaching them is just, when you're teaching them words and stuff like that, and they start being able to read, then start getting them to read books and then have discussions about the books and get thought-provoking books. Like at school, I chose like Mice and Men, and there was one that was like I loved so much, J.D. Salinger. I can't think of the name of the book now, but anyways, there's books that get them to think, like, and you can think back to ones that you had to read in high school or junior high or whatever, and then get them to discuss it, to think about, like, what do you think about that? And maybe discuss it each day after they read some. And then I think a biggest thing too, once they reach a certain age, is to make them have to manage the kitchen. Like they have to figure out meals. They have to prep meals. They have to, but they have to figure out like the meal plans, like what we're going to eat, how much is it going to cost, how much can we spend, and do all that, because that is something that is so important to learn as you are growing up. And that is something that messes people up so much. I always thought, why don't they do that in school, like home ed class? And you're at home, you teach them how to run a home. That's your education. Getting them to learn how to read and write, to think for themselves, to be open-minded, and to be productive, to be artistic or self-expression, and to learn how to run their home. And then that's the best education you can give them. You don't need all this other stuff. If they have something that they're very interested in, that's where there's libraries, there's places to get books about it. And once you've taught them how to read, then it's their adventure into their own minds, what they can learn and stuff. So don't get all caught up in, their bullshit of, oh, it'd be so hard. I don't know this. How will I teach them that? You don't have to teach all that. And don't forget, we have calculators. All I have to do is learn how to manage the money. Like, you got this much. This is, oh, I got hair stuck in my phone. You got this much money, and you have this much time that you need to feed us. You have this much food. This is how much food, and food's going to go down. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And we're in RFK, he's getting all the chemicals out and shit. So there's going to be some changes, some big changes on that food thing. But there's going to be, because the corporations are going to be going down so hard. So that's where the mom and pop, that's where more local things. Like, if that is like a thing that you've always wanted to do, is be a baker and bake bread and sell it to people and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think, I don't know. We just got to see. We just got to go with the flow. Because I know there's going to be some big changes. I know the corporations are going down, and that's who's been feeding us. And he's about to put some big, harsh restrictions. But there's a lot of, I think, small, you know, like at the grocery store, how there's these brands that are like, you know, Miracle Whip also owns Kraft, you know, like Kraft owns all these, and Nestle owns all these, and Quaker owns all these and stuff like that. But there's some small little places, you know, like Aunt B's or Uncle C's or whatever. So you have all of those little brand things. I think that those ones that haven't become corporate owned, that have been family owned and stuff, or co-opt, where it's a group of people, that those will start really going and skyrocketing. You know, like Mike's bread. Isn't that what he's called? Mike's? So his bread, you know, rather than Wonder. Wonder will probably go down, and then we'll have, but there will be more higher quality stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, they're going to be weeding out the stuff. It's not going to be just like, oh, well, yeah, you can stay doing Wonder, but you have to take away the chemicals, because there's going to be so many lawsuits. They're going to be taking down the corporations. And so there is where there's going to be a lot of falling. This is like the falling of the titans. This is where the giants fall. And it's like the little man takes down the giants. And so this is where, you know, we're going to have that. So there's still going to continue to be that kind of drama, because the giants have to fall. Like, we have this great, exciting thing, because now we're going to be going in this other direction of abundancy and stuff like that. But we still have so much stuff to do. We got fucking 2 months to get there. I was like, it's winter, man. 2 winter months. Which, whatever they're going to do with Joe, I would think that they're going to have him, I don't know, maybe have a spoiled problem, because they keep on making like he's really, really mad at the Dems. Like, oh, that'll probably be a thing. Yeah, well, he could have beat him like he did last time. You know, that kind of shit. No, she couldn't beat him. She wouldn't even come out and speak to the people. And so they're just making more and more of like what a horrible person she is. And, but that's where these people have to see, because these people are still hanging on to this. I mean, there was a video, I guess, apparently of a young father coming out and so excited. He was crying because he got to vote for her, because now his kids have the opportunity to be able to have that freedom of choice for their bodies as they get older. It's like, dude, like, oh my gosh, these people are so misled. So anyways, but we have this 2 months that we got to get through, which, fuck, I would think they could just roll up on some of these people and take them away in cuffs, man. Fuck, just let him come in. He's supposed to be in anyways, like, and, but it still seems like they've got to have this money thing go under Joe. And then, you know, and Donald's going to save the day. But, you know, those of us who know, it was already set up. You know, he was already saying we're going on the bricks, and this whole thing was dismantling the banking system and the corruption and the laundry and all of that. So they had to do this long, drawn-out bullshit thing. But it's still, we're going to go into this fucking golden age of time. And not only that, too, with the parent, because he wants to get more people at home, more parents at home. And I know, like, lots of women like to work and lots of men like to work because, yeah, it makes you feel productive and stuff. But there can, you know, it's going to be for everybody. Like some people may be able to be like they're home with their kids, and then them and the kids figure out something to make and sell together. And so they create their own job. And then some may be that the mom and dad want to do split time with the kids because they want to be able to go out and interact with other parents and do stuff. And then also I would start with community groups. Like I had told the one lady over there, like my idea with getting kids, a group of kids to go into the community centers and form like a little drama group. But it's not just about going and doing the acting. It's about the development of the characters. It's about writing their stories. It's about creating the clothes that they wear. It's about designing the sets. Like it's a whole development of things, you know, for the kids to do the whole start by the end of the year, to be able to do a presentation or a show for the community and have a performance at the end of their time of their development, whatever, however it's set, you know, like when girls go in and do dance class and then they have a recital. So something like that. But that is where you're going to find so much coming out in kids. You know, there's so much been repressed. And it would be fun for parents to get involved with stuff like that and be involved with other parents too. So, and then I think also there is going to be a huge thing about where we're going to start building like those back to those social things where the people got together for like, how I see it all the time is like back in the days, like in small communities and small towns. And then that would be like on the weekend, the guys that played instruments would come out and start playing their instruments. And they would always have like a dance floor. And sometimes they would have people who would do, you know, calling on the dance and like a square dancing thing. And people would bring food, and people would, it was just like a social thing where everybody would get together in the towns and socialize at the end of the week. And so I think, you know, going more back to being more social and wholesome, you know, not just women putting on some lingerie and going into a dark club with a bunch of drunk guys and thinking it's going to come out with a husband or something. And so we just, there are a lot of things we can change, a lot of directions, you know, that we're going to, I think that are going to go, that are going to be so much more wholesome. They're going to feed our soul. So it's going to make us feel good in the world. But the schooling thing, especially if they're going to be giving $10,000 per kid, and then also the people, a lot of those people have parents that also have issues, especially ones that have been poisoned so much, because it's all, everything is coming out, every ailment, that all of it is all parasite damage and parasites. So and there's going to be a radical, just went across the thing, right, as that was popping in my head. There's going to be a radical change in how we take care of ourselves. And so that is going to be a big difference when people start knowing where to go, how to take care of themselves. And so, and when we're getting all the poisons out of our stuff that we take in. And so but he's also going to give money for people who will take care of their parents. So, because like I've said before, these nursing homes are just parents being tossed aside and people having problems. And when you've got problems like with your parents and then your parents die, those problems continue to exist. You got to have time to work out your problems. And so it's important to not just throw your parents away. And so there's going to be, it seems he's trying to more establish that kind of relationship too, so that there's going to be incentives to take care of your parents. And then there's lots of stuff like where there's going to be changes, like if you have an ailing parent or grandparent or whatever, that you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to take care of them. Then I would start really helping them work on their health and reversing the age damage that has happened to them. But some people are going to want to just be like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to keep going. I'm ready to go. There will be a lot of people who are just like, they're not going to want to go, but that last bit of time with their family and that last bit of forgiveness and release, it's going to make me cry because it's important. So that will be really productive for energy on the planet. So anyways, and he did do a big commercial thing talking about the spiritual thing. And I think there's going to be a lot more that's going to be coming out. Probably when we start having first contact or something, people will start really understanding more about spirituality. And but right now, religion is the only concept of there being something outside of here. So that is like the step down, because it starts becoming more vague and more vast. And so you have to be more centered and to be able to feel like, yeah, this is right, this is right. I've just had years and years and years of it. Years of them showing me things, talking to me, just so I just feel like I trust, like that when they say stuff. And so anyways, so we have the next 2 months that we got to get through, that we don't know what will go. I would just hope that they just hurry, have the money crash on their hands. We have that huge drama. Everybody just freaks out, and which will make more lean more into this movement and help them break more free from the trap that's holding them emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever they're trapped with. And so that will be more of a movement. And then if they do some arrests and stuff, like there was so many people just constantly saying, all her supporters of the Diddy party. And then he's built this transition team, which I said that it's definitely a transition team. It seems like all these people are to transition us into this, releasing this other thing, like the medical and stuff. Like, we'll see how it plays out and everything, but this isn't like, I don't think we're not going back to the things the way they were. We're going to go through a lot of huge changes. And I think it will be real quick too. So he's already putting out the video talking about January. He's going to be giving all this money to all the people who want to teach their kids at home, and everybody will be allowed that same $10,000. And so then and quickly, I think that they will start doing the incentives over the cities, the freedom cities, or however it's going to go down, that they'll do it. I don't know. He could see before he talked about it was the freedom cities, and they had 11 planned. And but that is where I think that they will start doing like this soft evacuation. So hopefully that we will start, moving out of these dangerous areas and going into these other ones, and we will not go through the timeline of having to do these crazy evacuations where millions of people die. Well, we'll see. Like, I don't know. Is it still could keep going? I don't know. There could still be a lot of people who don't want to move. But there's going to be, like, people's jobs are going to close up because the corporations are going to be going down. So they will be losing jobs. But there's going to be so much less stress because the resources is going to change. We're not going to be paying for those. Food's going to go way down. And healing's going to go way up. And, oh yeah, that woman with the fascia thing, God, that was so uncomfortable. She just kept talking and talking. It was like, and she's pushing all. I was like, oh, this is so awkward. And then you could see it was a guy, and it was so low. Oh my God. So anyways, but I also saw now some women doing the fascia ones on the face. And so it's all these little, like, you got to get in, it's like deep tissue massage or something, because it releases stuff and it gets blood flow and stuff. So it's really good for your skin. But go and look it up and stuff. But anyway, so I was doing this yesterday. I was watching them and I was doing all this stuff. And so I was thinking, well, that could be, yeah, I could have set some of the nanos out, and that's what's caused this, like, total inflammation and all this sneezing and sneezing. My nose has just been pouring, which I saw something that is really, I know a lot of people do those nano pot things when their nose gets all stopped up. And I saw this. And I'm thinking about doing it, but I haven't done it yet. But so you just get a clove of garlic. So you get 2 cloves of garlic and you just stick them up your nose. You just leave them up your nose. I don't know for how long because I think they shoot themselves out. But when they come out, all the videos that I've seen, when they come out, it just pours. It cleans out your sinuses, and so it just clears everything out. So people's, it just pours out. It's like, ugh, it's really gross. So, anyways, I'm thinking I might try that because I'm sure it puts a lot of the antimicrobials and all that stuff up in there. And there is stuff that supposedly attaches to the nanos. Now I can't remember what it is. Probably nicotine. I still didn't go get any cigarettes or nicotine gum, but I kind of like the cigarettes, I think, more than the gum. But I haven't gone and gotten any of those. But there was something about those that they do something besides the what is that? The anti-venom. So it's the counter to certain things that was in the water that were not even in this country. So you had to watch that video talking about that. So I think there's been a bunch, but anyways, so all those things will be changing. So January, we will start going into this like quantum leap, but I think the 39 days is before that. So I would think if this 39-day thing is for real, is, oh my gosh, what's the dry pitch sound? Oh yeah, and there's some weird storms coming. So over here by us, I saw a guy and he was looking on this map. So there's this weird thing. Like I knew the tower for some bullshit. It is some kind of moving frequency or something. So there's some kind of a weird thing over here. At the same time, they have this big weird storm coming that they're saying is going to do a lot of damage down. The Santa Ana winds are supposed to hit like 60 or 70 miles an hour or something. And they're saying it's going to create a lot of damage. So I hope we don't get the winds, but somehow it's supposed to go through here. And then I think there's supposed to be some water stuff. And I've already seen a bunch of places where the rivers are already up. There was rivers already going over roads. Not over by here, but there's other places. They've got fires going. We got a lot of shit going, man. It's like they're not going to go down easy. They still are going to keep kicking our asses as long as they can. And I don't know when the weather machines get taken back. Like, I don't know how long this bullshit, because we have the earth doing its own thing. But we also have them using it to cause more damage. And so, and that may be, once January comes and starts telling people to go to safer places, if this shit hasn't already gone down, then the people going and leaving those places, then there will be a lot less people that would be killed in any of those things. But there would definitely still be people who would stay. But I would say the people who would stay is because that's what they're staying for. They're enjoying their time before they leave or something. So I don't know. But what was that? So January, lots of things changing really quick. If they are going to give away land or homes or whatever it's going to be, and they're going to have incentives for building communities, because it is trying to, I swear that they're trying to pull people into places away from other places, and without doing it to like militant, but so it would be kind of like a draw, like a lure, which is going to move people into places where it's like, oh, I didn't want to live here. But then they'll start building communities and stuff. But everything is going to be changing, like our weather, the landscape. There's going to be so many changes. So even if it's like you go and you're someplace in the Midwest, and it's like, dang, I didn't want to live in the Midwest. I wanted to live in the mountains or something. Then I don't know. There's gonna be changes, and there's gonna be so much stuff that's gonna be changing. I'm sure there's gonna be places where you can go live in the mountains. I don't know where all his freedom cities are, and I'm sure there's gonna be more than 11 because there's a lot of people. There's gonna be so anyways, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna play out, and I think he's gonna come in really quick. And he already said there's gonna be fast changes. We're gonna be doing things fast, and so that's super exciting to me. It's like, God, finally we'll start going towards this other thing. But all yesterday when there was so much tension and stuff, I felt like, oh, see, I do feel like I've grown out of that thing, because then I was able to be able to just like, I'm just going to not get caught up in the drama and just go focus on what I got to do and then let it play out. And then I'm so glad how it played out, though. Bug. Thank God. But I still say, like, we got shit. It's not going to go simple over these next couple of weeks or months. And and if it is 39 days, then that would be a huge drama that would be going down, I think in like 20 days or something, or 25 days from now. And that's supposed to be the first contact. So I don't know, I hope, because I know he's definitely been leading into that. He was talking about it in his last time. And so then, because you got to look at it through the awakening thing. He was, he was talking about things that seemed real crazy to some people, but to those of us, it did get our attention. And then, because then I was like, he's the first one, like Space Force and stuff, because I know, like, show's real. And they're all laughing at him. I was like, fuck. But there was a lot of people who are, into aliens and ufology and stuff, who were like, hell yeah, finally, we're going to get somebody to tell us, or to speak the truth. And so that, but then there was so many people that were so against him. I'm telling you, it was like he went to I remember him going to a baseball game, and he was being booed, and all the people in the stadium were booing him. Like, it was very different. And people who supported him were a lot more like they were ballsy when they walked around. Like, I remember seeing one wearing a hat and the eye doctor. And my daughter and I were both sitting over there just like looking at him like, oh my God, is he crazy? Like, yeah, why would you wear that in here? And it's just thinking like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was really strange. And see how it had to be more and more people to start wearing those hats and supporting him or whatever. But he had to do a lot of things. He started doing things that were so positive for us, and then the people who were listening started being like excited. People were affected and stuff, and so people start getting more excited. I noticed for sure when there was the thing about something that he was doing or saying or something, where I was like, oh my gosh, he's bringing industry back to America. We're going to go back to Made in America. And I was like, fuck yes. And so that was one thing I noticed, is like, fuck, he's doing some good shit, man. But that was before the sickness. And then it was when the sickness started, when I started saying about supporting him, that's when I started seeing the irrational, how crazy people were. And it was, man, you just saw things from such a different perspective through all of that. But that is, all about the awakening. And so now, after going through all of the hellacious 4 years, then that has a lot of people, like, in the prices and the depression, the people just getting sicker, the more people coming over, the more crime, all of that built so much where we were going off of a cliff. And, how far they take us is all the way to the bottom. And so it is like he's stopping it. He's like pulling the chute for us. And so then we'll start going in a completely new direction. We'll go be like an about face. But we still have this time to get through, and it still is the whole thing with the crash in the economy. Oh yeah, we still have this big threat that's going on with the nukes. And I don't know, because in the storyline, him and Vladimir are such good friends, and Vladimir's the one who's saying he's going to pull the trigger. So maybe they're going to have like a heart to heart, and that's going to show us more of like, oh, see, peace on earth. Because it is going to be this whole movement towards peace on earth and no more war. And so I don't know how that storyline's going to play out. Or if there's going to be like the big threat of like, well, he pulled the trigger, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. But whatever it is, it's always a show. It's always for a purpose, for a reason. And so whatever it is going to be however it plays out. And then you can see how things make a change. Like, even though it's like we're dragging through this bullshit, but that's why I said all the things that affect us is the things we're supposed to be working on. So however we're being dragged around by all the things happening or the things that we got to work on, and a lot of things are like not feeling like you have control. But then when you realize like, oh, the only thing that has control here is the universe. And so if I just trust the universe and understand that how things are going to play out, and to me, I mean, really, if it comes down to it, that you could say like, I don't trust the universe much because I'm always looking ahead. I'm always looking to see what's going to happen, and I'm like more hyper watching how things play out and how they connect and the patterns and stuff. Oh yeah, and this was something I talked about this before a long time ago, but it was something that I was seeing yesterday, and I was like, man, if I could just explain this, but it's so hard, but I can see it so much. And so it's all the different people. So you have all the different people and right now, but we are all an extension of our ancestors. So we aren't just us. We are a replica or remnant of all that has been before us. So we are connected to all of these that creates what we become. And so that connection is like it creates this whole thing. And then when the people go out, they stay with you. So you have your line with you. You have your ancestry with you. And so it's like this going out and coming back around. It's like this feeding itself kind of thing. And so you are a part of that. And that, you think about a kaleidoscope when it moves, you know, and it makes those things coming back in on itself. So see, it makes a pattern. It creates a design, an energy with all of our auras and all of our vibration and our energy. It creates these patterns like a kaleidoscope pattern. And so that is this creation of this fiber, but how we all connect is because we go into one another's family things, into other ones and other lives to create. So we are connected through our different existences in different times and places, that gives us this link that connects all the patterns together, which creates like the fiber of the universe. So if you see what I mean, how like when you think about, well, it's the geometry, the geometrics of the energy of existence, in how the patterns are created, is like that kaleidoscope as we go through these things, in the connection of all of us, in all of our in the and like I said, it's like the ones that are by you, it's like you guys are all like the same color scheme. It's like the learning and the lessons go together to project us this color scheme or something. And so it's like this this pattern that is created, that is just this going out of this geometry of us and all of our connection. It's really cool. Like, I can see it and understand it. I don't know if it makes any sense at all when you say it, but there is such a connection between us in this elaboration of design. And it, but it, then it's like the design is like the universe, and it's like being Tron and going into the universe. So going into the design is where we find ourselves. And so then we find ourselves in the design to be a fiber of what is created, how the design is created. And what I was saying too before is like, it's almost like every age, and you think of an age being a spotlight, where an area, where it's like a lessons. It's like these certain lessons that create this certain pattern or something. So these lessons that are available, and then it's like a highlight, so like a light on a stage, and then you go into those lessons and learn that, and that is the creation of this. So like every light, every stage is like a quilt. It's like this fabric of knowledge that is created by all of the experience. And that's like on this, like on the micro macro, because like I look a lot of the things as energy and stuff in the spiritual thing. But I know that we are also, that's our real existence when we go out of here, and we don't necessarily go into that level. That is kind of like the level of like where I say like there's watchers or something. Is like the same thing to us. Is like if we could just sit there and just watch a kaleidoscope, and then it's like you can zoom in and zoom out, so you can zoom into an experience. And but then there is so much that is not really like a necessity, because you go into hyper too close into an experience creates judgment. And that is where we often find ourselves interjecting ourselves into judgment over somebody else's experience, when we need to realize that that is, it's almost like a distraction to keep us from focusing on ourselves. We can focus on what their problems are instead of our own. But we need to take notice of when we are focusing on other people's stuff and judging what they should do, and let go of that and focus more on our own stuff and what we should do for ourselves. And one of the things is to notice, that we distract ourselves by trying to solve other people's problems, and to look at it like, why do I think I need to solve other people's problems? What makes me feel like I know best for other people? What makes me feel like I need to take the responsibility? Do I want to have the consequence? Do I want to hear them say, well, you told me, you made me do it and stuff? There's a lot more to building somebody up for themselves, and be like, I don't know, what do you want to do? You got to figure it out. You've got good plans. You've got good ideas. You can come up with a strategy instead of going in and trying to solve things for people, because then it does create this dependency, and this the one person loses faith in themselves and becomes dependent on you solving their problems. And so there's all these toxic relationships that become like a burden to people. And because those are all toxic interactions, and that's where we have to constantly break down our interactions, who we're interacting with, why we're interacting with them, what are we talking about, what are we doing, what are they thinking, what are they saying, what are they doing, like to just be more aware, because that brings more awareness of your own self and your own choices. And when you can look at your own self and your own choices, that's when you can, heal your stuff. You can look at it differently. You can see, like, you start picking up on your just reactive patterns, and your bad attitude, the pain that you carry, and all of those different things. Like, there's so much pain that people carry from past lives, and they just have no idea whatsoever that they carry this very intentional drained sadness inside them from past life tragedies and the things that they've gone through. And so the more that you can really get in touch with your soul and see yourself as having value. And I think that is going to be a big thing too. Like, there's going to be so much that is going to be shifting us towards healing and introspection and being able to look at ourselves and make changes, changing our priorities. So there's going to be so much shifting about that. This is going to, though, cause some people to really go into crises, identity crises, and the dark night that becomes completely overwhelming. And so there's going to be a lot of that's going to be a big group of people. But there's going to be more. There's going to be more. It's not going to be just because, Cammie didn't win. No, there's going to be more stuff, because there's a lot of people over here too that are still not awakened. So everything is going to keep being, and there's going to be, I would think, probably first contact would be quick, because religion has been so used. It was formatted, it was created to use against us, I think. And so that all has to fall apart, and that is going to be a hard one, because there's all these people that, were waiting for rapture. And so they've already got questions. And now, now you got your saint in there. Now you got this great stuff that's going to be happening. And now you're going to rapture. Now you're going to go out. Like, these are all things. So I think that they're going to kind of move fast through some of this stuff and redirect people. And so we'll see. But I think that there is going to be like a sense of a whirlwind for some people. Like, for those of us who have an awareness and are watching all this playing out and aren't as emotionally attached, then it's going to be more an observation. And but there's going to be people who are very attached. Like yesterday when I was watching the election, like, there was people who were very attached. Like, there was crying, there was all sorts of stuff going on. So there's going to be those people are all going to be just awakening to their healing, like just beginning like their healing journey, like, for stuff. And then there's going to be there's still going to be people who are resistant to the energy. Like, there's going to be, I think, kind of like 3 groups as we see. Like, there's a split, but there's still like this other group. But the split, the people aren't going to keep going in that direction. Like, the doors are going to keep shutting. Their people are going to not, like, they even said that there's no blue going to be in the thing. It's going to be, all of it is red now. But there's going to be so many people are going to be being taken down and arrested, because this is going to be where all of their laundry there's going to be cleaned out. All of their there's so much with the REAP thing, and there's so much with treason, and there's so much with the other one, the thing that they do with Wall Street. Insider, right? There's big things that they're all involved in. So they're all going to be going down. And then there's something, Washington Post or something said that they passed a thing that all of the trials that go on at the GIT are going to be public. They're all going to be televised. So they got that. So that's going to be going. That's going to be taking up some time. There's going to be people like there's so many things that people talk about now and disclose, and I don't listen anymore. It's like, I already know that shit. And so there's lots of people who don't know it yet. So there's going to be a lot of that. But like, I don't think we're all going to be sitting there listening. But there's going to be a lot of information that's be coming out for people to help them to wrap their heads around stuff. And so there's going to be all that stuff with the trials and stuff so people can watch. And that is going to probably help a lot of people be able to understand what's going on because they're so tricked. They're going to have to listen to the court talk or something. I don't know. We'll see. We have, there's still more to go. Like, this is super, super exciting. It's not like, oh, now we're magically in the age of Aquarius. We still have, you know, a lot to go. We still have people who are confused and aren't awake. We still have people who are angry. We still have people who are, what was the other thing I was seeing? There's a lot of stuff. And the bankers are still got a handle on us. And that's a big one. The bankers are all, that's all, there's a huge shift that's going to go there. And he already said, like 6 months ago, he already said we're going on the BRICS. So, and that's, I mean, that's a for sure. That this whole thing has been leading us into this, you know, abundant time. This time of building community, not being used to be the builders for their communities, but to build our own communities, to go out and find ourselves, find what we're good at, build relationships, to heal families, to get family bonds back into better. And then there's going to be all this stuff with land too. So one thing too, when you're thinking about your home and stuff, and if you're thinking, well, I would take my mom and let her live out there instead of the nursing home, then remember, you can set up your house thing different. You don't have to be living in the same house. You could do like a little guest house, a little apartment, just so, you know, she can have, or your parents can have independence and not be right there, but be close enough, like the kids can go out and hang out with them. Because there's certain things that bring life back into older people. Pets and kids bring that life back into them, you know, the joy. So that is where, you know, you start seeing their health improve. And then plus they just need to be able to be independent. It's going to put anybody in a better mood than to be always feeling like they're in your house and in your kitchen and stuff. And there's going to be all sorts of money for this stuff. Like, to us now, in those positions we're in, we're like, fuck, we're broke. We can't even have our own damn house. But there's going to be all sorts of incentives. And there's a whole thing about, I bet you there will be, like, there's a whole thing with these Amish tiny houses too, that they're selling these little Amish cabins that can be put together. And, but there's going to be a lot of stuff. The Amish really did us good. Man, they stepped up. They were like, go, we're in it with you guys. Come on, let's do this. But I guess apparently, you know, that farmer that they were going hard on, that there was signs that were up around the area that were in Dutch. The people couldn't read it, but it was saying, get out there. We got to take this. We got to take these people down. We got to put this guy back in. This guy lets us sell our stuff. Those people won't. These people are killing our animals. So anyways, we have that big movement too. But there's going to be more interaction, I think. There's going to be a lot more building communities like Amish communities. And so there will be, supposedly the only taxes that there's going to be is if you buy new stuff. So, and all of the things are going to be going cheaper. But I think there's going to be like house kits and stuff. I think there'll be more house kits. And that things are going to be cheaper. There's not going to be all these taxes. There's going to be so much incentives to get people on their feet, to get people less stressed out, to get people more situated. And I think that is going to be a big thing that we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. And I think that's his whole motivation, is get us structured and get us strong. And then we have the medical and all of his team, the technology, all of his team that's going to be directing things in, you know, like this orchestrated again. So it's going to be, it is going to be really cool. And things are going to go quick. But so just keep thinking outside of the box. And if you had something like you wanted to do rescue and stuff with animals, this is when you're supposed to, or any kind of things, growing food for your community or any of those things. This is when you go in, when they start doing this money reevaluation, that's when you're supposed to bring in your present, like whatever it is, your projected thing. You're supposed to write out like what you think would be good for your community and what you feel like you could bring. And then there's going to be all this money. Like if you want to do a rescue and you say, you know, I need this much money. I need these many cages. I need this much food, and, you know, a real thing. But it's also everything you got to think is that it's got to be built not off of their old system. It's got to be thinking outside of the box, going in a new direction, and about being sustainable and all of those. So any of those kind of issues, like, to me, it wouldn't be like, well, we're going to depend on Purina to feed all these animals. It would be like a plan is we're going to have chickens, we're going to have a barn, we're going to have eggs for the dogs, we're going to grow vegetables, we're going to, you know, like make our food or something. Then there would be all of that money. But see, then you need more people to be involved too. So then you have where you go and actually employ people. And so that is where you're going to find little jobs. I think there's going to be people who wouldn't just want little jobs to go spend time helping with the animals and spend time growing food and stuff. There's going to be those kinds of things because people are going to have more time to really get into the things they enjoy. And people enjoy gardening and they enjoy spending time with the animals. They enjoy going on just dog walks. And there's going to be more of that kind of life where, you know, that's your job is to go out and walk dogs or something. Because AI is going to be doing so much of the other stuff. And then there's going to be so many people who really enjoy growing food that will be growing food, and they'll be being paid handsomely for it. It won't be this corrupt system of, you know, Keebler making all the money and, you know, Mrs. B's over there, she's broke as fuck. And they just keep making her jump through hoops and she can't get ahead with hers. And she's using all good stuff. Because even when there would be these small things, like Native was a brand that was supposed to be really positive and healthy and stuff, and then those like Procter and Gamble or something bought it and changed the ingredients. So that's what they do too. And I had talked about that years ago, how that has been a part of our downfall, is people thinking like to build up your little business to where the corporate will buy it. But that is what is sold out, man. You know, they ended up buying everything and owning everything and being over us. And then we didn't have anywhere else to go. And then they can gouge us and drive up the prices and poison the stuff and everything. So anyways, it's going to go with shift the other direction and we'll go backwards. So those little places will start going way up. People who love to garden will start getting paid to garden. And, but it won't be like, oh, well, I have to go 40, 60 hours. There's not going to be that much shit that you have to pay for. You know, our resources will be cheap. And our resources are supposed to be free. And I don't know how the step down will go. But anyways, everything is like, God, I just feel so excited. I feel so relieved. Like, thank God. Even though I know that there's going to be some shenanigans that are going to be going over the next couple of months. And probably even when you very first get started. But things are going to be going in such a better direction now. Thank God. Oh my God. And so, and then that's going to change on censorship. It's going to change on a lot of stuff. And they kept saying that TikTok was going to be banned or something in January 1st. And the people on there are always freaking out about it. But I would say if that goes down, it's because there's things that are so corrupt in our social media. But we'll develop new ones, just like how they made Telegram and they made Rumble and they made Discord and all these other ones that popped up. And I think he's trying to clean up X, but also X is about so much with disclosure. Because don't forget how much that Twitter was used at that other in 2020. Like, that was just totally used to turn people in a different direction. And so, I don't know, all these different things will probably be coming up when people are like, well, how did he win? I don't understand. I'm so confused. Because we don't know what their news was telling them. I mean, they were all out celebrating. And so things flipped for them. And even though it's not a huge amount of people, it's still a huge amount of people. In comparison, when you put it together, you know, the mags that way outnumber the other. But it's still a lot of people who are very lost and confused. And so that still has a lot of stuff to play out, a lot with the whatever. And so that you're going to have to see, it's like they cheated the last time. Like this guy was supposed to be the whole motherfucking time. This is absurd. So I don't know. To me, there's so much truth that has to come out, and it just has to keep coming. And these people have a lot of truth to face, a lot of truth that they've been in denial of, a lot of truth that they thought sounded so crazy. And so now they're going to have to face this side of themselves, the blocking side, their cock blocking side. Now it's like, why are you blocking so much information? Why don't you want to see the truth and try and understand themselves? And because that's when they can heal whatever it is, because it's deep stuff. This isn't just fake and stupid and NPCs and all that stuff. This is deep soul stuff. And so anyways, but I feel super excited now that we do have changes, but we have big storms coming in. Like, it's supposed to be this one coming, whatever, over the next couple days. And I had said something. I saw somebody talking about, because they were talking about this storm, and they said it's going to be a big problem for places that have been really wet. And so I don't know if it's about to bring in a lot of water. The wind also rips up the trees when the ground is so fucking wet. I'm telling you, I think the roof of my thing is just mush. I think all the roofs and stuff are just mush, like the floor, the ground. Yesterday when we went out for a walk, there was a guy getting a new roof on his house. So there's 3 days of sunshine, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Supposedly there's not going to be any rain. Even though I swear to God, there's always droplets just coming. And it always feels like it's raining. It's weird. But, so they were scraping all the roof off. And I swear, I just felt like, man, I think all the roofs are just mush. But they'll be able to get that one back on before it starts raining again. But I don't know. Because any of the stuff that's not drying out, that's what's creating all this mold. And I saw a guy who was talking about him and his wife have lived in 3 different places in 6 years or something, and all of them have had mold problems. And it's made them so sick that she has seizures and stuff now. So mold is a big issue in certain areas and stuff. I'm sure out here, I'm sure my health will improve. My stomach's growling like crazy. I'm sure my health will improve once I get away from all of this moisture. Oh yeah, and you know what I've been making too lately, which I feel like I'm getting pretty good, besides the almond cookies. Like, I swear to God, my almond cookies, I could sell them, I think. But to me, the trick with the almond cookies is the extra vanilla. It really makes them taste really good. But the homemade flour tortillas. I was making corn tortillas, but then the other day I was like, I think I'm gonna make some flour tortillas. I bet flour, because I don't like grocery store flour tortillas, but I was like, I bet you flour tortillas are good homemade. And so I've been making those. Those are good, and the dogs like them too. And they make good with the quesadillas. And my son-in-law, I think he's gonna be very because I eat different than how I did before, because now I make beans all the time. And now I think the beans has worked really good too with, I feel like I would be able to just feed the dogs bean soup with no meat. I've been doing less and less and less. And more like meat is a big treat, but I just don't know where it's going to go. Like, I'm not going out and killing my own fucking chickens. I can't. I'm not going out and doing that to make sure that they get to eat chicken. They're going to eat beans. They're going to have to eat beans and vegetables. And so, but I don't know. There could be places that are going to be continuing to make sausages and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. There's going to be some changes, I'm telling you, because people are going to be like, what you going to make it with? So I think people are going to see, whatever is going to come out, it's going to really, I think, a big part is going to be of people having to realize what we've been eating And I know some of it is dog. I know some of it is there's no, it makes no sense how some of these places are just killing these dogs, just killing so fucking fast. It's because they're getting paid. They're getting money off of it. And there's more stuff coming out with a Peanut thing. I really hope that Peanut is just being held captive and he's going to be back at home, and that this has all been a big show to show how these people just overstep. They just come in your house and they've got all these problems. Like, I can't even tell you how many things day after day, people being beaten, everything in the streets, and that they're going to do this big giant thing with um, four different like cop things, precincts or something, to be involved, to come out and tear this guy's house up over a goddamn squirrel. And they tore his house up. They broke his stuff. They just it was ridiculous. Now there's so many videos too of all these people with their pet squirrels showing their squirrels online. But it makes a difference over what state you're in, I guess. Apparently in New York is not a good one. But New York is showing a lot of corruption. But Texas is one where you can have any, and that's why they got people, like, there's all sorts of people with tigers and shit in their backyard, and that's why that one guy who's starting that Atlantis thing said that they're going to get lions. And it's like, I don't know, people have got to, like, some of this stuff is like, why are you getting that? Why are you getting a tiger? Why are you getting a lion? Is it because you want to, because you love lions so much and you really want to build this relationship, or is it so you can be cool and say, I have a lion? Yeah, I've got a tiger. Because that's been the problem, is that people have gotten lions and tigers and bears, and then they, it's all for a show. And then once they become, because there was like a drug addict or something, I mean a drug dealer, a big drug dealer, and he had a tiger, a bear, and I think a lion. I think he did have a lion, a tiger, and a bear. And I don't know what he, with the raid or whatever. I don't remember if he couldn't deal with them anymore or whatever. But they got taken and raised, and they all lived together. They're these three they play together and stuff, and they fight, and I don't know. I think it's cute, but it's weird to see these animals like living together as little, like, on top of each other and laying around, and they go out and they big battles, but they're still just playing. But there's like those people who had a lot of money and, impulsive, I guess, thinking like they're going to get these big wild animals. But then, like, man, just having Stella and having that big mouth coming at you, it's like, I can't imagine having a tiger's mouth coming at you when that's playing. I can see, like, some of these people, like, I saw this one, and this woman, she found a cat out, rescued it, and a kitten, took it home, rescued it, ended up being a Black Panther, which I think a Black Panther is like, I don't know, somebody's saying Black Panthers don't exist. If it's like some other, I don't know. I've seen a Black Panther. We used to have Black Panther in our yard. In the video where the guy was talking about that, all these people in Texas, I've seen a Black Panther. I've seen a Black Panther. I was like, yeah, I had one in my yard when we lived there. And everybody saw it. It was out there all the time. But if a panther is not really a panther, if it's really some kind of a tiger or something, I don't know. But anyways, the what was I going to say? Because there's people who go get these alligators and all of these different kind of animals, and there's been so many that they've gotten alligators and they get too big, so they release them into the lakes. There's some Lake Michigan, I think, that they've said now there's an alligator in Lake Michigan, and how to get there has to be somebody who's releasing it, and then they go and put them in places where there's not, and people go out there swimming and have no idea, and then they get eaten by a goddamn alligator. And so it's irresponsible. A lot of these people, they're trying to have these, what are those things called? Not domesticated, these certain animals that, oh yeah, the woman with the so she found this little cat and it grew into a big one. She has a Rottweiler, And so she has videos of them like when it's little and they're playing, and then it's got bigger and bigger and bigger. But then it does the same things where they run and jump like that. And the panther, tiger, the black thing, the cat is huge. It's huge. And she has this big old Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler looks small sitting next to this thing. And it comes and lays and cuddles, but she's raised it since it was little. And I think, if you raise them when they're little and you feed them right and you take care of them, I think that, they're not going to just eat you just because they have an impulse to eat you. I think that they can be domesticated, but I think that some of these people, they don't. It's like they want to have like a cool ass lion or a cool ass tiger or something. And so I don't know, it's different. So there's gonna be a lot of things that are just gonna keep falling apart. Like, I always thought that was weird. Like, you're trying to build a community, but then you're gonna have a lion. Like, what? Like, most people have dogs or cats. Somebody's gonna want to come out and live where there's a lion. So you've got a smaller community, but that community may be, and this is where you got to pay attention too, is that one may be a lot of big about show. They're trying to make money off of, views and stuff like that. And all those kinds of things are going to keep falling apart. And that could be a reason why TikTok goes down, is because people have used it so much to try and be, that's how they're going to make money or something. And it's like, I think that there's more productive things. There's better outlets. There's more things that will feed your soul than, and those, oh yeah, is this one, I kind of was like, where I was saying the one woman who, she has the silver hair and then she's real skinny and stuff, because I see this other lady all the time, the one who's 67, who is the real fit one. She's fit, like she's not skinny at all. She's not fat or anything like that, but she's muscular. She's definitely muscular. And she is, like I said, like she's like a Jack LaLanne or something. She's fit, man. And so she's healthy. And when you see her workouts, like, look, she's go chin ups. She's like hanging from these bars, pulling her legs up. She's like hardcore. Like when you watch her, she like does some shit. And so that is more where we're going to be going, more towards that. More towards people taking care of themselves and seeing like, fuck, it doesn't matter if you're 70 or 80, you can do this shit. You just got to work your way up. But you can do it. You just have stopped. So now you got to work yourself back up. And but there's other people who just like don't take care of themselves and they keep draining. But it's all about the looks, having the silver hair and being scrawny and all of those kinds of things. And, she had said that she vaped, but then the doctor told her she wasn't going to heal right if she kept vaping, which that is also going to be, it is so bad. Like, vaping is so fucking bad for your lungs, that oil stuff. And even with the weed vaping thing too, because a lot of women do that because they don't want to go around with this smell. So they just use those pens, and that oil is, I think that is going to end up being banned or something, the oils and vapes and stuff, because I don't think it's good to be putting that into your lungs. So anyways, we'll see how it plays out. There's going to be a big shift in things about our health. And it will have a lot with RFK and stuff too, because it's already going to be like, well, you're not going to do that. We're not going to have that. That's no good. That's no good. So there's going to be a lot of big shifts where things that are not good for you are going to come right up. But so where she had said she had stopped vaping, I was like, oh, see, maybe she's going to start going in this better direction towards her health and stuff like that. But then the other day she did a video talking about, when you're sitting in your wheelchair, how to use your ice pack to keep your wine cold. I was like, that's the wrong direction to go. So, but it's going to be a lot of stumbling. The people who are really super artificial and superficial and fake and phony, they've got a lot of stepping down from it, a lot of stepping away from it, a lot of changing the way they look at things, and with their health and stuff. And so many people, they just are so misdirected. They have no idea. And so many people, they just think it's aging gracefully, and that's just as a natural occurrence. But all the people who went against it and started fighting against it, started taking care of themselves, eating right, not drinking, and exercising. They all started, reversing aging. Like there's reversing it. And yesterday, or the other day when I did the TikTok on my hair one, and this woman was talking to me, and she said that she had, after her chemo, that all of her hair, once it grew back in, it grew in totally white. And so I told her that is total mineral depletion. You have got to get on top of that, because once your hair is all white like that, it's feeding off of your bones and stuff. Like, I'm not surprised at all that lady stepped down and broke her foot. Like, I bet you she's like, what do you think osteoporosis is? It's like a depletion of the minerals out of your bones and stuff. That all the things with our teeth, and there is a big thing about the enamel, and it has been stripping the enamel off of our teeth. You got to build the enamel back up on your teeth, because they have been creating us to have problems with our teeth. And it's a thing of like trying to figure it out. Like where I hear is that NOBS, no BS toothpaste stuff, which I've gotten. It's expensive, but they're those little tablets. But it's the hydroxyapatite, or something. It's this long word. Is the mineral that is needed for your teeth, and it's in that. But it's in some other ones. But you can also try and figure out your own. Lately, I've been doing a lot with the baking soda. There was the one guy who said that he had never brushed his teeth his whole life. And he's never had a cavity, never had any issues with his teeth. And all he's ever done is do peroxide. And so I've been doing the peroxide for a while. But the peroxide and the baking soda is what I've been doing. But even when I had the hydroxide, whatever, this, the silver is still. So I don't know. I still maybe where... Like, I don't know how fast the med beds are going to come. I don't know how fast, if it's going to be, I don't think that there's going to be where I have to go and have them drill this silver out. I think that is going to be, we won't have to go through any more of these barbaric treatments and stuff. That we'd be able to go into the med beds and stuff and have things just like dissolve. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's going to play out the way it's supposed to play out, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can sit and stress like, oh, but I want this, but I want that, but I want this. But that's when you got to go in and ask yourself, like, yeah, but are you going to fall apart because you don't have it? Can you make it without it? Can you just keep going and watch how things play out? Because there's a certain point in time why it's going to be where it's at when it's there. So it's, and I heard there's already people who are going in the med beds. So it may be real super quick. It may be by February. We're all lining up. It may be by February. We're all on the gold standard. Like, I don't know how it's all going to play out. But at least we're going in a different direction now. At least now we know that, we're going towards freedom. And it just is so crazy because, like, the whole fucking globe is celebrating. So many people in other countries. I can't even believe. They were all staying up. They were all on the edge of their seats. And I saw one even talking about, she was so worried that it was going to be a replay and they were already doing the cheating. And it was like, oh my God, are they going to do it again? And we're going to go. And it's like, that's the same thing I was feeling, man. It's like, fuck, they're going to do this again? Jesus Christ. How many times do we got to go through this shit? There's so much stuff. It's like Groundhog Day. It's like when you've been through it, then watching other people go through it is just like, oh my God, it's so tedious. But there's a good thing though about it all. And it's about the awakening, and it's about this big change on the planet, and about us all getting to live this new way. And it's like it's like going into a fantasy. It's going into a world that we couldn't even fathom that it could be like that, where we don't have to pay for things. We can go out and just enjoy being alive, and go out and enjoy meeting people and doing things. And it's going to be just like so exciting. So, and I don't know how fast it's going to all play out. It may go super duper fast. It may be like, wow, So we went through about 4 years, but we really got most of the people on our side, so we don't have like a lot of trauma going. I mean, there's a huge group that is very traumatized, I'm sure, that is freaking out this morning. And who knows if they're going to start in with their bullshit with, oh, well, they cheated, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, we're going to drag this shit out. And then we have these sinners, we're not going to let him in because he's got a felony. And so, but it's all going to be them exposing themselves, and it's going to just lead to more handcuffs. So however it goes, I just hope that this is where things are going to just start clicking quick. And we're going to just start moving fast. And people are going to start getting to be at home, building new communities, getting out of danger zones. And everything is going to start building into this heaven on earth. Because that's what we want, is heaven on earth. And that is where, you know, like, some of these people who are waiting on rapture, it's like, so you want to go now? Like, now when we're about to get where things are going to start getting good. But there's still going to be, like, there's still going to be some trials and tribulations to get through. So, but we'll get through them, because this is our birthright. This is what we're here for. And this is, you know, this is destiny. This is set. And we're going into this age of Aquarius. We're going into this new time. A new stage is being lit for a whole new set of lessons, a whole new set of experiences. So anyways, I'm super excited. Just remember what you got to be doing, though, leading all up into this, is working on yourself. Because you got to learn how to love yourself. You got to love everyone. And you got to learn how to have a loving day. Oh, my God. Some of the times when I get, like, stuck, it's like, what? Didn't I just say this yesterday? Didn't I say this every day? So you got to learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So have at it, and I'll talk to you later.